the quality of the PRP. The journal show that if you produce at least 2 until 4-fold of the platelet concentration compared to the whole blood, you will get a quite nice result for your patient. Yeah, because when we talk about the centrifugation, we talk about PRP, we also talk about technology. Nice technology will make sure us to produce nice quality of the platelets. And also, beside the centrifugation process, we should consider about maybe you hear about RCF, the centrifugal force, round of centrifugation, and the anticoagulant, and also the activator. So the technology, good technology, make sure us to produce nice quality of the platelets. That's why I like Radiolab, because Radiolab had developed this product for more than 25 years, I suggest, yeah, and I myself experienced nice result. So, is it okay if you do the first or the second centrifugation? Yeah, like I mentioned before, because there are different factors that influence the quality of the platelets. And for this cellular metric, we only do first centrifugation. And the research from Radiolab make sure that we will have more than 80% the quality of the whole blood platelet that we get after we do the centrifugation. Okay. Yeah. Actually, PRP has also its derivative, like maybe another speaker will talk about PRF. We will get PRF without anticoagulant. Most of the PRP used in dermatology mostly use anticoagulant. Yeah, some use activator, some not use activator. Yeah, but the results show that they show good result. We often mostly use pure PRP for aesthetic dermatology. For leukocyte-rich PRP, it means that after we do the centrifugation, we take also all of the buffy coat. But if you want to take the pure PRP, we take the lower part of the plasma and only the superficial part of the buffy coat. It says that in the journal, leukocyte-rich PRP best for wound healing, but for aesthetic we mostly use pure PRP, like in this cellular matrix. The technology separate most of the leukocytes, so we get pure PRP. And one of my favorite, they combine it with HA. When I talk about HA, I think only one from cellular matrix that combine PRP in one tube. Yeah, so you just do one procedure and you get a mix of PRP and HA. And the result is for about 4 until 5 cc, and you can use it like 2 cc for your face maybe, and then you can continue to use it for your neck. And I also use this cellular matrix for periorbital rejuvenation. Very nice. I use cannula. Maybe at this afternoon I will show the technique, quite easy for you to. And for the usage of PRP for dermatology practice, we can see we can do a lot of them. And for pigmentary disorder, it is very unique. We can treat melasma. We can treat vitiligo. It is very unique because when we inject the PRP at the area, they will work suitable for the condition. It is very unique. So I like PRP so much because it is autologous. So it will minimal the immune reaction, minimal the risk of transmitting disease also. And for pigmentation, we can do it not for only for hyperpigmentation problem, but also for patient. I treat some of my patient with PRP, and I combine also for vitiligo. I use excimer laser and the PRP, and of course combination therapy is better for treating various kind of dermatologic disease. For scar, for rejuvenation, I like it so much. Why? Because you know that as a dermatologist and as aesthetic clinician, you should advise your patient to prevent aging, especially photoaging for us in Asia. And you know that the pathophysiology of melasma is photoaging and aging. So melasma could not be separated from aging. And what I like about PRP, the PRP have the capability for anti-aging approach. PRP help us much to control the melasma, to prevent the recurrence of melasma, because PRP have many effects like anti-inflammation. You know that the sun's exposure, acute stress, like lack of sleep, pollution, over exercise, not a good quality of life will increase aging in us. And PRP have the anti-inflammatory effect. And also PRP have like antioxidant effects, and it is good for us because we know that oxidative stress will increase the evidence of melasma, will increase the recurrence of melasma. This is why I like it. I use PRP in melasma for two reasons: for the direct capabilities in pigmentation, and also for the capability in prevent or controlling aging. Yeah, why I like it. That's you know that when we treat melasma patient, education is number one. If you have a bad compliance of the patient, you will not have a good result. Yeah, because we know that when we treat the patient of melasma, I think still the same in other country, that we should know that topical treatment is still in the first guideline. So you should choose your depigmenting agent wisely. You should have the capability in controlling the melasma patient using topical treatment. Of course, sunscreen is a must. And then you can add another procedure. So I give my title adjuvant therapy because you cannot rely on PRP only. Nowadays, technology help us to use many product and procedure beside of PRP. Maybe all of you have known about peptides. Yeah, peptides have been developed nowadays to help us to treat stubborn melasma. Because when you treat the melasma patient, you should give good education, because the expectation of the melasma patient is very high. They want the melasma disappear forever. And all of us know, as a clinician, the melasma we cannot cure 100%. We could only control, prevent the recurrence of the melasma. So why you should educate? So the patient will be have good compliance for your advice. If not, they will move to one doctor to another doctor, and what will happen? They will get the melasma worsen, and also they will get complication. You know, in Indonesia we have many complications from topical treatment because the patient get the topical treatment easily, not by prescription. Even people that who are not doctors sell the Klickman formula. You know, in melasma we should wisely use Klickman formula because you know we have hydroquinone and steroid in the product. Yeah, so your capability in controlling by topical treatment is also important, and then you can add another procedure. So you have to educate your patient well, and then you should notice about your patient lifestyle. Like I mentioned before, the new pathophysiology of melasma is aging, especially photoaging. So you should educate your patient to use the sunscreen well. Because if you give the Klickman formula, your patient not using sunscreen, or you not do sun avoidance like using hat or umbrella, or moving from see surface from glass, it will worsen the melasma, even heat, you know. So I advise you also to be careful because from the pathophysiology of melasma, we do a lot of procedure, and the procedure we use heat, we use laser, we use trauma, yes, like we do microneedling, yeah, we do laser, and all of the procedure that use heat, pressure, trauma will get opportunity to make the melasma worsen. So when most of our patients often ask, how if I cooking, I get exposed with the heat? And actually, I think the heat has a role in melasma also. The journal say like that. So we should educate our patient about their habits daily also. So many factors influence the success for controlling the melasma. We should be careful. Like laser. In melasma guideline, a laser is the other option. You should use the right laser. You should set your parameter nicely, because if you not, you will wake up the melasma. That is my best advice for us to treat melasma. Of course, for a dermatology problem, you can use it. Like for autoimmune disease, like so many papers about that. Psoriasis, lichen, rosacea. Yeah, rosacea is also interesting case to be treated, and PRP we can use it for rosacea also. I have some patient. And for wound healing, so many results. Nice result for wound healing. Yeah, like I said before, many factors influence the incidence of melasma. Genetic, especially first degree relative. Solar radiation, sun's exposure, not to be mentioned anymore. It is very 80 until 70% of aging caused by UV exposure. And the endocrine, like we use oral contraceptive, or we use another hormonal treatment. It can reduce melasma. And also oxidative stress, like we live in big city, pollution, the skin is very rich in receptor. One of the receptor is for pollution, hydrocarbon receptor. So when you go out at pollution area, of course it will be the predisposition factor for your melasma also. And if we talk about the melasma condition, I will explain before with the picture. And about the guideline consensus for melasma, we should wisely choose our treatment, because I think each country has their own guideline, like us in Indonesia. Depend on the weather, the sun's exposure, the habit of the patient, race also, and the skin type, of course. Because in Indonesia, 3 above specific skin type are the predisposition factor for melasma. I would like to say that when we talk about the skin of melasma patient, of course, the skin barrier of melasma patient is compromised. When we do histopathology examination for the patient of melasma, we know that there is atrophy for epidermis and also the epidermis. So there are changes not only in structural but also in function. In melasma patient, we will see that the epidermal area have so many changes, like the stratum corneum more compact than the normal skin without melasma, and the atrophy of granulosome layer, and also the retroridges get flattened. And we will see abundance of melanin in the epidermal, also the dermal area. And we should remember that there is basement membrane disruption in a melasma patient. So it will make the melanosome, the melanin enter the dermal area. And the PRP have the capability in repairing our membrane basement. We admit it because the PRP have several growth factors for repairing our membrane, basement membrane. And we know that for skin is very nice, very good, because skin has its own capability for regeneration. And you know why I like this cellular matrix? Because theoretically, we have HA in most part of our organ, also in skin. But we know that because of aging, the HA decrease over time. And when we inject the HA regularly into the skin, the HA will act to make the good homeostasis for the skin. So it will make the cells, the matrix in the skin do their healthy job, like this. They will do their own differentiation, proliferation, and regeneration. So the injected HA will make our skin produce more HA itself from the skin, and also the regeneration of the other cells. Yeah, I will explain next about the pathophysiology about the cells. You know, the role of the cells, not only melanocyte. When we talk about melasma, they talk each other. So the journal say that cross-talk communication between the melanocyte, keratinocyte, fibroblast, the macrophage, mast cell, the endothelium, and also the matrix. So they are a team. So when we treat melasma, not only think about the melanocyte, they have their friends. They are a team. That's what I want to mention about melasma. Now, this is the picture. At the right, you see, they cross-talk, they talk each other. Like when we get UV exposure, the keratinocyte will produce, we say like keratinocyte cellular factors. The keratinocyte will secrete growth factor that will calm the melanocyte, will induce the fibroblast to next produce the growth factor. Also, they induce the cell mass, and at last, they will induce melanogenesis. So, it is the same pathophysiology of hyperpigmented PIH, I mean, yeah, pigmented hyperpigmented inflammation, yeah, post procedure, of course. Now, so they talk each other. So when we do treatment, actually we control all of them. Even if you have a dermatitis, you scratch your skin, the mast cell will produce the growth factor, cellular factor to induce melanogenesis. So that is why the risk of hyperpigmentation, if there is trauma, inflammation, or pressure, or burn process, so we should be careful. And I also want to mention about the preparation of the patient before you do any treatment, especially if you do ablative treatment. You should do pre-treatment, and you do, as an operator, you do with the right action, and then never forget about post-treatment procedure. It is also important to have optimal result for the patient. So many factors to be considered by us as a clinician. We can see, and then at the left side, we see the histopathology, like I mentioned before, of the compromised skin condition of the melasma patient. At the C, at the arrow, you see the pendulum melanocyte. In melasma patient, there is hyperplasia, hypertrophy, hyperfunction, hyperdendricity of the melanocyte. So they will transfer more melanism to the keratinocyte. And because of the disruption of the basement membrane, the melanism and the melanin will enter the dermal area. So we know that when we treat melasma, we not only treat epidermal, but also the dermal. And the dermal melasma is stubborn. Yeah, because the B picture increase the density of the melanin and also the keratinocyte in melasma patient. Big nuclei, unpolar, heterogeneous, like that. And you know, one of the unique pathophysiology of melasma, a lack of autologous autophagy. Because you know, in human body, if there is abnormal protein or macromolecule, we have autophagy mechanism. And actually, in melasma patient, there is error melanocyte. Why they could not be autophagy by the macrophage? Because they lack a kind of protein we call LC3B. There is in the picture. So the automatic autophagy did not run well for melasma patient. That is one of the reasons that melasma could not disappear 100%. They will be reappear recurrent. Yeah, maybe this is a conclusion because we know that relapse. And for the decision, for the treatment, it depends on the clinician us. Like I advised before, always pay attention to our guideline. It means that based on evidence-based medicine, not you directly go to PRP without topical treatment, because without topical treatment we won't have optimal result for our adjuvant therapy. You should remember about that. And for the topical ingredients, you should look for the good level of evidence. And still hydroquinone still have best level of evidence, but you should use it wisely and correctly, depend on your patient condition. So you treat melasma patient individually. You should remember that, individually. So you will get a good result. And always discuss with the patient. You explain all of data about melasma, and at last your patient have decision to decide which he or she like the most. And of course, you have to give nice and best education based on your patient condition. Okay, I mentioned multimodality. Of course, if we compare PRP alone and PRP with HA, of course, maybe theoretically or rationally, I will choose a PRP with HA because we have double effects. Like I said, the PRP have the rejuvenation effect, anti-inflammatory, wound healing effects, antioxidant effects, yeah, will make the good condition for the skin. And HA will have a role for scaffold. So when you inject the PRP, your patient will have a puffy face, younger face, and for long-term effect, new collagenesis and rebuild for our matrix. So the skin quality is better. HA is one of favorite for skin booster, boosting the skin. You can do regularly boosting the skin because it will prevent aging for your patient. If you prevent aging, it means that you also prevent the incidence of melasma to your patient. So you should treat your patient before they have melasma, because we as dermatologists or aesthetic clinician also know that maybe sometime your patient will have melasma. And why not from early you teach your patient to prevent the melasma? I think that is good point for us, for a clinician. Okay, like I have mentioned before, and for the procedure, chemical peeling is also important. It depends on the clinician's capability. We can use superficial or medium, but in Asia area, we avoid the deep or be careful with the medium. But the chemical treatment, if you do it well, it will produce nice result for epidermal melasma. So you not only think about the modern technology, you can use conventional treatment for your patient. But like I said before, the topical treatment should be good, and then you continue with the next procedure. I still like chemical peeling for my patient. I do it a lot. Yeah, I do it until frosting. The key is after treatment procedure also good education. You will get a nice result. So you can combine it with chemical peeling. So you use topical and then you use chemical peeling, and next you can use other like PRP, laser or microneedling or other. It depends on your experience and your device and your clinics. Okay. And for systemic treatment, like we can also use like antioxidant, like oral tranexamic acid, but the evidence base is under the topical treatment also. Now, this is the mechanism of PRP for melasma. We know that the platelets contain, especially alpha granules, they secrete for about more than 20 growth factor for about 1,000 protein. And this is the main growth factor that help us controlling the melasma. And the primary to decrease melanin synthesis is TGF-beta 1 and IGF. They will suppress MITF. You know, if we talk about MC, MITF, NC1R, they are the main gene, the main factor to induce melanogenesis. And at last, they will induce the production of tyrosinase related protein, and so on. And also, the PRP has the capability for skin augmentation. If we use cellular matrix, we also have the effects from HA. So it means that we will induce neocollagenesis and also the elastin and also rebuild for the matrix, for our matrix. We can see from many journals, they use PRP a lot. This is some journal, we can check it, for melasma. Some use first centrifugation, but also most use second centrifugation. The results show that the centrifugal force is very important to make sure that we can separate the cell well, because we should make sure the survival of the platelets. So the quality of our PRP will be very nice with the nice procedure. How we know the quality? You should ask the company. You should ask the result, because all of us as clinicians, we should think, act, and decide based on our research data. About, you can see from the journal, they have different kind of technique, different kind of centrifugal force, but most of them claim that they show nice result to the patient. So it is very important for us to consider the product use. This is a nice journal. They compare PRP injection and tranexamic injection. Actually, you can find another journal. I just put some. They show that for injection of tranexamic oral, tranexamic acid injection have equal, even more better than the tranexamic acid in this journal. They try in plasma patient and compare it with the control. This is also, this treatment show better result for PRP. we can combine with another procedure. Of course, when we use it for melasma, it is better if we also combine with other modality. And from the patient satisfaction, what I like from the PRP and HA, less painful to the patient. Because you know, when we do most of our procedure have pain. One of my tips, tricks, you should treat the patient painless. So never forget to put your local anesthesia well, not in a rush, not only 30 minutes, because it will cause pain. When it causes pain in the patient, the patient compliance will decrease. Maybe they would like not to continue the treatment. It will make us difficult to offer another injectable treatment to the patient. So it is one of my tips. And from this result, this is a systematic review, nice journal. You can read. I put it the notification about the journal. Most of the patient satisfied with the procedure and also with the result of this treatment for melasma. Especially when we combine in this journal, we combine it with a laser, with microneedling, and also combine it with tranexamic acid. For the adverse effect, so minimal. I never have a significant adverse effect for the patient. Besides that, what is the difference between the PRP, HA with other products? Sometimes we also use another product of HA like crosslink HA. We know we also have in this cellular matrix. The HA is not cross-linked. The concentration is 20 milligram per milliliter. We have 2 milliliter. It means that we have 40 milligram. And the adverse effect we find when we use another product like cross-linked HA or PLLA or like DRM, more painful, and sometimes we find a long-lasting papule. We often find one of the longest papule in patient in Indonesia. We have found 6 months, you imagine. There are papules in the face. Maybe because the quality of the product. So you should be careful when you inject booster product to patient face. Because one of the side effects is a quite long papule stay in the face. It is lucky if you use HA, you could inject hyaluronidase. But for another product, you should be careful. Also, beware about the septic aseptic to prevent the infection. I'm very concerned about the procedure. So luckily, not lucky, but we try to prevent. I never found infection of my job in treating aesthetic procedure. So my advice, we should be careful. If you're sure, you do it. If you're not sure, don't do it. You should adjust with your experience and ability, and especially based on your competency. I think I know that all country has their rules for the competency in doing aesthetic injection, because if something happened to your patient, you will get problem with the law. The same in Indonesia also. Okay. This is a process. Easy. The product is easy. First, blood collection. Next, I think I have the video, so you can play the video after this. Oh no, okay. Actually, I have the video. Maybe I'll show it this afternoon. It is very easy because the Regen Lab has a unique special equipment to collect the blood. We will collect about 3 cc of the blood, and it will stop by itself. Your nurse can do it, or you yourself. I myself, when my nurse cannot blood. The equipment will make the blood stop by itself, and after that we do centrifugation. Only 5 minutes. After that we do resuspension. Like that, if I hold the tube at the above, the first layer, you see the transparent gel. It is the HA, 2 cc, and the plasma, and then the platelets, and then the separator gel, and the leukocyte is under the separator gel. This technology makes sure that we separate the leukocyte well, and then we do resuspension like this 20 times, gently, not in a rush. 1, 2, like this. When you do it at your practice, at about 20 times, and we'll get a mix of the HA and PRP. We will get about 4 until 5 cc, and we can use it for many applications. We can inject directly into the dermal area. For the cellular matrix that I like, it penetrates easily, so you will be easily push the products. And then sometimes you will see like papule, and they will integrate with skin as soon as possible. But in the neck area, it needs longer time. Maybe I myself inject these products once in a month. When I inject the product to my face, tomorrow clear the papule. But for the neck, maybe I need like 2 days. But it's okay because I see the improvement for neck rejuvenation for myself. I inject to my neck area. And I like to use it to periorbital area. Do not afraid. I directly inject right here. Do not afraid. It will integrate easily into your skin. It will not create like strange papule. No. You can inject into the wrinkles. Of course, not only one procedure. You know that if we have static wrinkles, we need frequent treatment for your patient. I also use cannula to put the cellular matrix for the periorbital area, and I repeat it once in a month. I see the result nice. Some patient first treatment nice. The worsened one maybe need 2 or 3 times, but after you all try this product, you will see the result. Why I told you this? I tell you all of this because I do it to myself and to my patient. So I give my tip and tricks, not afraid to use this product around the periorbital area, because I find some product that stay longer in periorbital area. So I'm very concerned. I try to myself. I inject the product. I also try so many products that have been offered to me, so I can compare. That is why I like the PRAHA. And then, yeah, we use it. We can use it for acne scar. You do microneedling, you put it. You do the fractional ablative laser. You inject into alopecia. You can also do that. And for skin rejuvenation, you can do that. For melasma, for wrinkle. I also put in nasolabial area. Of course, not like filler. I inject intradermal. Not like filler, you know. At the nasolabial, we could use cross-link filler. So it means that to treat aging or wrinkles or shallowness, we should combine with another procedure. It depends on your patient condition. Actually, I have tried this cellular matrix in my patient. I inject to melasma patient, and I only use moisturizer and sunscreen. I not use the pigmenting agent, and I see the nice result for my patient. At my hospital, I use Maximeter to evaluate the result. So the melanin degree of the melasma patient was very decreased. Actually, I have the picture, but I think the committee not display the picture. But I assure you, you can use this cellular metric for melasma patient as adjuvant therapy. I think thank you for my presentation today. I hope I can give my knowledge and share my tips for you, and you can apply this product to your patient, because you know that the result never betray the hard work. Thank you.
Xin trọng cảm ơn bác sĩ Rita Maria Lai. Thì qua bài báo cáo vừa rồi, chúng ta đã có rất là nhiều những kiến thức mới mẻ và đặc sắc về những cơ chế hoạt động cũng như là ứng dụng GLP trong điều trị kháng nám. Và tiếp theo sau đây xin trọng kính mời thạc sĩ bác sĩ Ngô Anh Tú với chủ đề các yếu tố quan trọng ảnh hưởng chất lượng GLP.